What's up, YouTube? It is your boy JB, and I am here with the review for Real Housewives of Atlanta, Season 13, Episode 4. I think this is 4. If not, it'll be correct in the description bar below. And the episode was titled From One Surprise to Another. God, why did she put that nail polish on? That clear shit coming off. Yeah. So without further ado, you guys, let's go ahead and jump into this episode review. All right, you guys, this season is really dry so far. It's not giving me much. And I'm not saying that I want the ladies to be fighting and things like that, like what happened on Potomac. At least give me some fun shade, some fun moments. That's what I would at least go for. Kind of like what, at least what Salt Lake City gives. But let's start up with Cynthia, you guys. So we see Cynthia and Mal, and they are getting ready to head to yoga. And I was looking at Cynthia and Mal, I'm like, damn, both Cynthia and Mal have big ass, like their asses were huge. I know Mike is having fun with that ass of Cynthia's. Is Mal still married, you guys? Let me know in the comments. I think she's divorced, right? So yeah, they're doing yoga and they meet up with Kenya. So, they're doing the yoga and, they're talking. So, Cynthia's talking about how she's stressed out about this wedding. And then Mal mentions what happened when, she, Cynthia, and Mike went to the venue and what Cynthia said. Excuse me, y'all. Excuse me, y'all. So Cynthia, they're talking about how Cynthia reacted to the fact that, the question was posed to her. What happens if on 10/10/20 she's not able to have the wedding at the venue that she wants? And Cynthia, said that, she told, Mike that she didn't know, which that's not a good thing to say to your man. This man loves you and he wants to marry you, but you're sitting here telling him that you don't know if you're going to marry him on the day that you say, if you're not able to have the wedding of your, the wedding that you want with your 250 guests. Cynthia is frustrating, to be honest with you guys, because I'm so glad Kenya called it out. Because even I'm like, because Cynthia wants to say it's not about, it's all about the venue. It's not about the venue, Cynthia. The issue is, and they broke the fourth wall with this one. The issue is you want to have your wedding on the show, which it wasn't on the show because production decided not to have, decided not to show up because, and I think what I heard was Cynthia told them Cynthia told them one figure of how many people would be at the wedding, but then it turned out to be the 250 people, and Bravo and Truly Entertainment just wasn't here for it, so they said we're gonna scrap it. We're not recording it. So Cynthia trying to say that, oh, that's not what it is. It's not about the, it's not about the wedding. I mean, it's not about, it's not being televised on a show. Yes, it is, Cynthia. You know it is. That was what your storyline was going to be for this season, was you getting married on camera. Like, that was your whole storyline. And then when COVID came into play, because I even thought about that when COVID came into play, I'm like, oh, shit. Like, what is going to happen with Cynthia? Because, they started filming, and I was like, ooh. Actually, it was by when they did the reunion. I'm like, damn. They filming this reunion, and then I knew right off the bat what her storyline was going to be, but I'm like, damn, she's not going to be able to have this wedding that she wants. So what does that mean for Cynthia? Because more than likely, this is going to be Cynthia's last season. I feel like Cynthia wanted this to be her last hurrah, to make up for the wedding that she had with Peter, and then she could go live her life happily in Los Angeles with Mike. So then later in the episode, we saw Cynthia. She was at home and she got a call. So Lauren called her and she called Candy, and she's inviting them over to Portia's house because, now when did they film this? Because I'm pretty sure when they filmed this, it was, I know that they filmed in the summer, like late in June, early July. So I'm pretty sure Portia's birthday was around this time. So I think it was. So Lauren is inviting them all over to the house. It's a surprise party for Portia. And, she said, well, what about Kenya? And, Lauren's like, well, I wasn't really going to, invite her, but if you want to bring her as a plus one, go ahead and bring her. And we'll talk about that in a little bit, okay? So let's move on, you guys. All right, you guys, next, let's talk about Candy real quick. Wasn't much with Candy. So Candy sat down with Kenya for lunch. And so here's the thing that's annoying me with, it's not a, actually, yes, it is annoying me. These face shields that they're wearing. Like, I've noticed that they're wearing face shields. The Dallas Housewives are wearing face shields. Like, y'all do know that that's not protecting nothing, right? The face shields just look ridiculous to be quite honest. Even I think OC has worn some face shields as well. The face shields ain't protecting you. Now I can see that if you have a face shield on and a mask over, have a mask on and just the face shield and the face shield, but the face shield itself isn't doing anything because you're not covering your nose. Because y'all do know that when they do go into surgery, they do have their mask on and they do have their shields that they can lift up and let down. Okay. So yeah, they're talking. So Cynthia, I'm not Cynthia, but Kenya is telling Candy about Cynthia and his wedding situation, and she's also apologetic about. She also apologized to Cynthia about what happened last year with the engagement party and when they went to, I think it was Greece that they went to, when she was talking about the wine. So Kenya tells Candy that she wants to throw a surprise, engagement party for Cynthia, but she needs Candy to invite the girls. And Candy's like, why do you need me to invite the girls? Is it because you don't get along with some of them? And Kenny was like, who don't I get along with? Well, in her interview, she was like, Portia won't come. You have an issue with Tanya, and Marlo definitely won't come. And Candy is shady as hell, because when they were talking about Cynthia's wedding, well, Cynthia's first wedding, she was broke when she got married to Peter. So now that she has money, I would assume she wants this big wedding, which that is the truth. Again, Cynthia is just trying to make up for her wedding to Peter. So here's the scene that got kind of got under my skin just a little bit. Not much, but it was annoying. So they're talking about Portia, and Kenny is talking about the fact that Portia has gotten arrested again, and Candy was like, "What do you mean by that?" And you guys saw it. It was on social media. She, Tamika Mallory had, said something to her on Instagram. She made a response back to Tamika Mallory, talking about she feels that they are getting themselves arrested for, on purpose. No shit, Sherlock. Of course they're trying to, they're protesting. What do you think? And then, she's, it's just, and then, she's talking about Portia, being out there and not wearing a mask. But you guys are wearing these dumbass face shields that ain't protecting shit. So it's apples and oranges. Like, you might as y'all wearing these face shields, you might as well not even wear the face shield. Like, I just don't understand people who wear the face shields. The face shields. Like, I see, when I go to my local Walmart, I see the face shields, and those things are expensive as hell. I'm like, why would you just buy a face shield that does nothing? Literally. But whatever. But yeah, let's move on. All right, you guys. Next up, let's talk about Drew and Ralph. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I really wasn't paying too much attention to Drew and Ralph, but I do know that they had a doctor come over, or a counselor, one of the two, and Drew actually said that they've been in counseling before. I'm like, so y'all been in counseling? And I think at one point she said they were in counsel. They've been in counseling for the last 6 years. Isn't that how long y'all been together? So that means y'all been together. Yeah. So that means y'all been in counseling since y'all been married, and it hasn't worked yet. Why? My question is, why stay in a marriage Because if you guys have been in counseling more than once, and it's obvious, well, it's not obvious, but I would assume that you guys are not using all the tools and steps, or either the counselor just sucked. Because if y'all still having the same issues that y'all had when y'all saw a previous counselor, something's not right there. Either you guys are not putting in the work necessary to fix the issues, or, like I said, the counselor was just crap and you should go ask them for your fucking money back. It's one of those two. One of them. And I'm thinking it's the first one, that you guys are just not implementing the steps, the processes, the tools. I don't feel like you guys are implementing it. And more specifically, I don't think Ralph is implementing it. But you know what? I can't put all the blame on Ralph. I'm going to have to give some of it to Drew as well, because it's two people in a marriage. So then, the counselor asked them, like, what are the most pressing goals that they want to fix in the relationship? So Drew says transparency for one, and treating her oldest son much like he treats the younger kids. I'm like, wow. I've never been in a situation like that, so I can't say how that feels. Because I have a stepfather, but I wasn't raised by him, and so yeah, I can't tell you. Because when I did find out about my birth mother and my stepfather, yeah, I can't really say that he treated me any differently. Because so with my mom, she has 2 kids with my stepfather, and myself, my older brother, and my middle brother, and he is the middle of us, and my middle brother, we all have different dads. But like I said, my little brother, my baby brother, and my baby sister are my stepfather's kids. And I can't say he treated, nah. If he did, I didn't pay attention because I just didn't care. But I get where Drew's coming from. Excuse me, that ain't COVID. I get where she's coming from. She wants him to treat all the kids the same. I get that part. Now, the counselor asked her, what does transparency mean to you? And Drew said, telling me like when you're going to the store or when you're going to Tampa. I'm like, Drew, that's not called transparency, love. That's just blatant respect. He disrespects you by going to Tampa. So you might want to say respect. So then, the counselor asked Ralph, what is his? He says respect and sex. So she says, so what does that look like? He says at least 3 times a week. I'm like, okay. But, with Ralph, we do realize that Ralph has more issues than what we know, that he has some issues with his mother. But yeah, I'm sorry. It's just, I feel like there's a lot of issues with both Ralph and with Drew all the way around. He has his issues with his mother, and he says he feels that Drew is trying to treat him the way that her mother treated her father. Honestly, like I said, with Drew and Ralph, the thing is with Drew and Ralph, they should really, listen to the counselor. Whatever tips, tools, and tricks she gives you guys need to 100% listen to it, apply it. I think that's what the biggest issue with you two is. You said you've been to counselors before, but have you guys taken, it's one thing to go to a counselor. It's another thing to listen to what the counselor says and implement what the counselor says. That's the key to, making it work. But I'm not going to sit here and preach. We're going to move on. And to close out Ralph and Drew, Drew tells us that, Ralph's dad had a heart attack and that he passed away. And I was looking at Ralph in that scene. I was like, is he trying to be, strong man for the cameras? Because I couldn't, you tell me a parent of mine passed away, I'm a boo-hoo. I don't give a, like when my mom passed away, like that's all I did. Like one of my, when the doctor came out, he didn't even have to say anything to me because I could look at his face, and his face said everything that I needed to know. And then, I went home by myself and I cried myself to sleep that night. Actually, it was a Sunday night and Real Housewives of Atlanta was on. This was season 9 of Real Housewives of Atlanta. Wow, crazy. But yeah, I remember that night verbatim. Actually I went to my grandmother's house, and all my family was there, and everybody was trying to see if I was okay. I'm like, I'm fine. Went home. It was weird going home alone that night. I'm not gonna cry, but it was just weird, guys. It was surreal. It was just something that I just never I never imagined being in that position. I mean, I knew she would die eventually. I knew she would die one day, but I just never expected it to be that day. So maybe he's just put on a brave front. I don't know. But, my condolences to Ralph and his family. But let's move on, you guys. All right, you guys. Next, let's talk about Kenya real quick. So you guys remember that I said earlier in the review that Cynthia got a call from Lauren about a party that she was doing for Portia. Well, Cynthia was getting ready for the party, and so was Kenya. So, I think Cynthia called Kenya. And Kenya, was, like I said, she was getting ready for the party. So Cynthia said, well, unfortunately, I got a text message from Lauren, and she doesn't feel that, it would be good for you to come to the party, just because she doesn't know, what you might do. And then, Kenya was like, I wouldn't do anything at the party. I'm like, Kenya, you've done a lot of shit over the years at parties. At Portia's first party, you talked shit about that party and walked out. At Marlo's hair care last season, you came in there with that drum line, with that little tired ass band. Kenya Moore hair care. That season when you guys went to Anguilla, when Phaedra had on that fishnet, whatever it was, and then at that party that you came to that party with that same outfit on, with that fake booty on you. So yeah, Kenya, don't try that. But then the thing that got me with Kenya was the fact that she was sitting there talking about she didn't really, all she wanted to do was give PJ a gift. Cool. It was Rosa Parks. It was a Rosa Parks figure. That's pretty cool. But then you're going to sit there and talk shit about it in your interview. But then I actually saw, before I even came on camera, that Lauren went on social media and she said that, she texted Cynthia 2 hours after Cynthia asked her, could she bring her? And she told her not to bring her. So she knew well in advance. They knew well in advance. I honestly think because Kenny even asked production, did they know? And they said, no, we're just finding this out. I find that so hard to believe that production did not know about that. I think production knew and just wanted to make a fool of Kenya. But let's move on, you guys, and wrap the episode up. Child, I don't know how I made this a long ass video because I know that this video was long. I don't know how. Next, let's talk about Portia. One much for Portia. So Tanya picked Portia up for the party. But they went somewhere else. It was her, Tanya, and Marlo. They were talking about she and Coach Dennis. I don't feel like delving into that conversation about Coach Dennis because we know she and Coach Dennis are not together. They are hopefully peacefully co-parenting, baby PJ, who is such a little cutie. So, let's move over to the party. I really, really, really don't see it for, what's that girl name? What is her name again? LaToya. I just don't see it for LaToya. I don't see it for her at all. So they're talking to Fallon, and LaToya, they're talking about Fallon's husband, how old he is. And Latoya's like, oh yeah, I figured you like older men. I'm like, huh? Yeah, Bravo. Why did y'all pick Latoya of all people? There are so many YouTubers on here that live in Atlanta. I have a good friend. I don't know if she would do it. I don't know if she would do it Housewives, but I have a really good friend on YouTube, very funny, that does video. That as a YouTuber, lives in Atlanta. She'd be perfect, but I don't think Rox would do Real Housewives of Atlanta. I would have preferred to see my sister Rox over Latoya Felva. So yeah, it ain't much. I'm gonna wrap it up. I'm just gonna end it up in a nutshell. Cynthia gave Portia, the gift for PJ, and Candy invited them to the party. That's it for Real Housewives of Atlanta. I tried to stretch this shit out as long as I could, but it ain't much that you can stretch. But you guys, be sure to like this video. Please leave your comments in the comment section below. Subscribe to this channel and share this video. Also, you guys, click down in the description bar and go check out my planner channel. There are 2 videos up. I'm gonna put another one up this week. I think I'm gonna do I know I'm gonna do a monthly plan with me. I'm debating if I'm gonna do a weekly plan with me on the channel. I might not, because I'm trying to buy some more stickers. Yeah, trying to buy some more stickers. And that's it. Remember, you guys, stay safe out there. Take care of yourselves. Remember, wash your hands, wear your mask, and socially distance. And until the next one, you guys, I will see you guys later. Oh, one other thing, you guys, I'm adding 2 new shows besides the ones that you already knew about, Bell Collective. I'm adding Growing Up Hip Hop Atlanta, which will premiere this Thursday on WeTV. I'm adding Sisters, which will be back on the 27th, I believe. And I'm going to add Love and Marriage Huntsville, which will be back on the 30th of this month. So we in for it, you guys. But I'll see you guys later. Bye.